All right, welcome back. This is Dr. John again, and this is our 1A or second video, I guess second out of 4 videos of on NET Neuro-emotional technique. And this one's going to talk more about when you work with a practitioner and they're going into certain statements. And for example, a statement can be, I'm okay being loved. And a statement can be, I'm okay being wealthy. A statement can be, I'm okay being in a relationship. There's a lot of different statements depending, and your practitioner is going to test you whether you are weak to that statement or if you hold strong to that statement. Now, this is not a lie detector. This is checking for congruence. If you aren't congruent with that statement, there's a reason for it. And finding out where that incongruency is coming from is part of what NET does with the statements. And so when you go into that, you go into a certain script, that your NET practitioner will take you through after you connect to see what organ or emotion makes that statement stronger. And once you find out what that is, then you start to try to connect it, see how it applies to you, and then we take you through a certain pathway and a script to try to get to more of a root cause. Whether that is something that is very current and only started currently, more often, at least in my practice, it's usually coming from a deeper, younger age that we have to figure out the why. And after that, does it mean it's all fixed? Not necessarily. Sometimes there's a lot of nuances. There's a thing within NET, it's called surround the dragon, which is like in acupuncture, you might have a needle and you surround that needle to try to really focus on that area. And they took that concept into NET. So say, for example, that I'm okay being loved statement. You can say I'm ready, willing, able, and eager to be loved. You can go into, I can be supported being loved. It's good for me to be loved. It's good for others for me to be loved. I have the energy to be loved. I have the time to be loved. So there's a lot of different nuances that we can start to surround that main issue if that is a main issue. There is, things with relationships, it's good for me to be in a relationship. It's good for me to be wealthy and abundant, and each of these things, there's a lot of times a non-conscious thing that is driving a self-sabotaging reaction or behavior in our life that affects our relationships with ourself, with our community, with our family, with money, with intimacy, with a lot of different things. This is one of the reasons why I tell a lot of people we're all responsible for our own triggers. Part of the statements we can do are also, I'm okay with trauma. Does that mean you want trauma? No. But you have to be okay with without trauma and with trauma, because then you can handle it. You can adapt to it. Being responsible for our triggers makes us take responsibility of how we process and how we go through life. A lot of people want to shift responsibility onto others so they don't have to take responsibility, so they don't have to deal with it. They don't have to confront their issues. Does that make it someone else's responsibility? No. It's just only if you accept it as your responsibility does it become your responsibility. So that's why I go and say, their triggers are not my responsibility. As well as if someone's purposely trying to trigger somebody, that says something about them, their insecurities, but doesn't mean that you are still being responsible. You handling what it's triggering in you and process through that, then you should not be as triggered going forward. If you are, then there's a nuance. So this is more about the statements, and it's still going through processing, going through another layer, and we can go through multiple layers to really try to go deep. Personally, I often go very deep to really try to help that person shift into their next moving forward leveling up, however you want to consider it. And that's how I work with my practice. And as well, in my practice, I also try to see if there's certain lessons to learn to help them, because if you don't learn lessons, I see the universe, or however you want to see it, keeps bringing those lessons back to you until you learn them. So this gives me a doorway into helping people learn certain lessons if they choose to. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. And hope everyone has a blessed day.